Remix. 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 Remix.
Good morning.
Again.
Peace, everybody. Peace.
Peace. So, Air Doctor has abandoned us this morning because he apparently partied too hard for a 50-year-old over the weekend, and so we are rocking and rolling. And Kim is here. We're just waiting for her to be camera ready, as we say. And welcome to Tandy. Excited to have you join us this morning. Thank you for setting your alarm on the West Coast to get up so super early to join us
West
today.
Coast. Thank you so much.
I am not camera ready. And I actually did not set my alarm. I've been up for a while. So we're going to see how long I can hang.
There you go. Listen, we will take you for as long as we can have you.
Absolutely.
Especially given what happened, the loss of Imam Jamil Al-Amin, also known as H-Rap Brown, for those of you who are not aware. So Tandy, I think we should let you start, because I feel like of anybody that's on the screen right now, you probably would have the best level of kind of input or response or knowledge about Imam.
Just gonna throw me to the wolves.
I am. I'm throwing you straight in. I need you while you're ready. And
I thought you was nice. I thought we was cool. We was just gonna throw a sister out there. Okay. Well, no. In all seriousness, I wasn't sure if I should go first because I had some venting that I wanted to do. I didn't really. Well, there are some historical aspects I wanted to talk about, but I'm really not sure if I should go first though.
Listen. This was me trying to. I wanted to make sure I gave you space until you decided you needed to go back to bed, because it's early over there. It's early over there.
Very early. I'm on my phone, so I can't. I don't have the same controls that we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get a picture? How do I get a picture placed?
You can email it to me, and I'll pull it up.
Nope. This is crazy.
Or you can text it to me. Text it to me. You're on your phone. Text it to me.
Okay, there we go. Let's do that.
And in the meanwhile, Evan has dropped in a statement in the chat, which also has a picture. So maybe maybe we don't need to do the picture. We'll see.
Okay, so I just texted you.
Okay.
One of the pictures.
Pull this up, and then Evan, you can. Do you want to read?
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to read. Do you want to read all of it?
No. I want to read all of it. I think it's worthwhile. And
okay, let's start with that then.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So Imam Jamil Al-Amin, Presente, November 24th, 2025. To speak of Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly H-Rap Brown, is to speak of a life lived in courageous chapters. As the chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, his voice sharp as a scalpel and uncompromising as truth, cut through the illusions of a nation in denial. He was, as he famously declared, a revolutionary, and his very existence was a challenge to the violent architecture of white supremacy. His leadership was a clear call that moved from the plea for rights to the demand for power. He did so in a 1965 meeting with President Lyndon Johnson, demanding protection for voting rights workers in Selma, Alabama, while other, quote, leaders present were just happy to be at the White House.
In the big house.
In the big house. You know, I almost said it. I almost said it. His legacy, however, extends far beyond the powerful oratory of the 1960s and his written word in his autobiography, Die Nigger Die. His transformation into Imam Jamil Al-Amin represented a deep spiritual journey and a continuation of his revolutionary work through the disciplines of faith, community building, and moral clarity. In West Atlanta, he was not just a leader, but a pillar, working to create a self-sufficient Black community grounded in Islamic principles and social justice. It was here that the full depth of his political vision matured, most critically in what he termed the politics of education. Imam Jamil's politics of education was a radical framework for intellectual and spiritual liberation. He invited a clear, unflinching introspection into the use of US propaganda as a primary weapon to deplete and dismantle the revolutionary fervor of the Black masses. He understood that after the open brutality of fire hoses and police dogs came another insidious assault, a media and cultural narrative designed to confuse, co-opt, and corrupt our understanding of our own condition and our own power. He taught that to truly be free, we must first decolonize our minds to see through the manufactured reality that justifies our oppression and sows internal division. This message remains a critical, urgent tool in our ongoing struggle in the battle of ideas. It was precisely this unwavering clarity that made him a permanent target of the state. He was under COINTELPRO surveillance and was listed by name in the 1967 FBI memo, which established a plan to, quote, expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, or otherwise neutralize the activities, end quote, of Brown and others in the liberation movement. His 2002 conviction for the alleged murder of a sheriff's deputy was a vendetta realized, a judicial lynching designed to silence a voice that cannot be co-opted. The facts scream of its injustice, the confession of another man, evidence that should have exonerated him, a gag order to silence his defense, and the unprecedented punitive measure of holding a state prisoner in a federal supermax prison. Exiled from his attorneys, his family, and his community for over 20 years, he endured the slow violence of medical neglect while incarcerated. A passive death sentence hoping nature would finish what the courts began, a state execution by another name. His body was caged, but his spirit remained free. Rest in power, Imam Jamil Al-Amin, free all political prisoners.
That be on it. That was very, and it was short and included all the things. So I appreciate that. Tondi, I did get your picture. I'm gonna pull that up now, and it is indeed it's a great picture.
Oh yeah, and there was this video that Kamal posted of Imam and Kwame Ture talking and laughing. That was really awesome. It was beautiful as well.
Okay, can you find that for
From Leah? I'll find it. I'll get it.
Okay, Tondi, I have that picture up. Is there anything you wanted to share?
Yeah. So as I was saying, I was asking like, what was the order for today? What was the rundown, or how we were going to do? Because this is not necessarily in chronological order for me, but this is part of the venting that I wanted to do. So, that film that came out on Matulu Shakur and the Lincoln Detox Program and the Young Lords. I think it was called Dope is Death. So in the late 60s, a brother by the name of Michael Tabor with the Black Panther Party wrote a pamphlet called Capitalism Plus Dope Equals Genocide. And he was talking about how drugs are brought into our communities, and it's a calculated decision, not only meant to destabilize, but to kill off our community. And in that film, Dope is Death, you see Lumumba Shakur and another brother. They go into a dope house and they take the dope and they dump it in the streets. And they're telling the press why they're doing this. And one of the reporters asked, well, why didn't you just turn it over to the police? As opposed to, destroying it. And Lumumba's like, if, we turn that in at 9 a.m., by 11 p.m., it will be back in the community.
Mm.
The police would be selling the drugs back into the community. So in the late 60s and the early 70s, at the what we call the height of the Black Power movement, the height of the Black Liberation movement, you've got this concerted effort to destabilize, and drugs was one of those efforts, and it was destroying. You talk to people from that time period, heroin was destroying Black communities, it was destroying Black families. And this photograph is from a poster. I used to have it. I'm not sure. I think it was in storage and I lost it. But this is a poster of H. Rap Brown before he changed his name, with a shotgun in one hand and a baby in the other. And at the bottom of the poster, it said the H. Rap Brown Anti Dope Movement.
Mm.
Rap Brown was convicted of a robbery in 1972. They said he had tried to rob a bar. And because of his other civil rights activity, Black Power activity frame ups, he ended up getting 5 years in prison. And then once he gets out, he moves to Atlanta, Georgia. He in prison he converts to Islam, becomes Imam Jamil Alameen, and moves to Atlanta. But this H. Rap Brown anti-dope movement, Rap Brown and other people like Daruba Ben Wahad, they would go into these dope houses, they would go into these speakeasies, they would go into these places, and they would rob the dope dealers, or they would eliminate the dope dealers. That's how serious they were about the threats facing the Black community. So it wasn't just flushing dope or putting dope in the sewers. They were serious about eliminating the threats to Black life. The Black Panther Party was serious about eliminating the brutality of police departments against Black people. And then when the communities become flooded with drugs, folks said, we have to do something about this. And they were serious about this. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up because, and I don't know how true it is, it may be a rumor, but I was told when Imam Jamil was convicted of this murder of, what was he, a Georgia, a sheriff,
Sheriff's Fulton
a, sh-
County
a
deputy.
Fulton County sheriff's deputy. Somebody, I don't know if it was it may have been the FBI, but somebody said we finally got him.
Mm.
Now, what did they mean by that? What they meant by that, if they said that, I believe they said it. And the reason why is because I lived in the West End of Atlanta I lived in Atlanta 4 years. My last year, I was directly in the West End. And people in Atlanta who have been there will tell you the work of Imam Jamil and that community in West End Park in the West End of Atlanta, it was a very safe place for Black people and Black families. And we believe that the reason why is because, and this is what Fulton County Police and et cetera have said, is that drug dealers were disappearing from the West End of Atlanta. Now, they were never able to put his hands directly on the disappearance, but they wholeheartedly believe that he inspired members of his ummah, his community, to take up that work that he had done, the type of work that's represented in this poster. In other words, even though he had converted to Islam, he was still doing the same thing, still serious about the threats facing Black communities. And when I say Black community, there was and I'm gonna, me, I can talk. I'm gonna wrap it up in a minute. I
You good,
was
Rodney?
living, I was about a block from West End Park. The last year I lived in Atlanta, I was renting a house, and I could look out my back window, my back door, and see the actual park. And I looked out the window one morning. It was like 7 or 8 a.m. And it was just a goo gobs of people in the park. And then I saw a hearse drive up, and the hearse parked, and they rolled out a casket. And I was like, wow, these people are actually having a janaza a Muslim funeral in this park. So when we say that that was their community, there was a masjid there. Lots of the Muslims lived in that right across the street from the park. Imam Jamil had a little store across the street from the park. That's where he was, quote unquote, at that night when they captured him, when they framed him for killing that deputy. When we say that that was their community, they were not playing. That was their community. You burying people, you having people's funeral services out there for everyone to see. I was just like, wow, I was blown away by that. But the point I wanted to make, and I don't believe I'm slandering the Imam. I know he was a man of peace. I know Muslims can be a peaceful people, a righteous people. But it's that type of righteousness that led him, even before he converted to Islam, to pick up that shotgun and that baby. And that's what I wanted to vent about. That's what I want people to know about Imam Jamil. That this man, this is why we honor him. This man was serious about protecting Black people. He was serious about protecting Black people from the threats to our lives. May Allah be pleased. May his ancestors welcome him with open arms. May his comrades greet him warmly. And I'm going to shut the hell up.
I mean, you don't really have to. Just I don't know, you're on your phone, so you can't see the chat, but everybody's like, keep going.
Yeah, right.
Keep going.
Let's
I
go.
well, see, I don't want to start repeating myself. It's like, what else you want me to say? This man was not okay. Y'all gonna make me start cussing. You want me to keep going? This man was not
I
fucking
mean, it's
around.
remix. It's all good.
Yeah.
He was not fucking around. Okay, it's just like Mumba Shakur said. You know, we turn over the dope to the police, it'll be right back in the community. I thought the police were supposed to protect us. No, we protect us. And that was more than just that wasn't just a slogan, that wasn't just a saying. These people lived and breathed it and died it. And speaking of dying, this man should not have died in prison. He did not deserve that. For the sacrifices that he has made for Black people, he should not have died in prison. And that bothers the hell out of me. So I just want to be sure, just in case there's some young folks who don't know, we talk about him being chairman of SNCC. We talk about violence is as American as cherry pie. We talk about the transition from SNCC into Black Power and the drafting of people into the Black Panther Party. This brother got a shotgun and went up into dope houses. Those clips we see of the Black Panther Party of Bobby Seale saying up against the wall, motherfucker, we come for what's ours. We wasn't just saying that to white folks. We wasn't just saying that to the police. Up against the wall, motherfucker, you ain't gonna sell this shit to our people. You are not going to kill our people. You're not going to murder our people, not without a consequence. And y'all Google Imam Jamil in West End of Atlanta. It was some drug dealers disappearing or turning up in areas they shouldn't have been. They always blamed him for it. And I don't have a problem with them blaming him for it. I don't mind that they blamed him for it. I'm glad it was a safe community.
I was gonna say, is blame the word?
Okay.
Credited too.
We thank him for his service.
We thank him for his service. And so, when we talk about support for political prisoners, did they do it? Did they not do it? Support means you support them. Not I support them if they're doing work on behalf of Black people. Well, I don't condone violence. Okay, well, get the hell out the way then. Sit down. We're not talking to you then. You know, it's like with Asada Shakur. We know Asada could not have shot any police officers because of the forensic evidence, in addition to her saying she didn't do it. But Asada always told us, support my comrade Sundiata. Don't leave him out of it. Asada was innocent. In other words, she did not do what they said she did. But if Sundiata did do what they said he did, we support him too. We shouldn't have a problem with Sundiata doing what he did. They were trying to kill them. And they did kill Zaid Malik Shakur. So the work that Imam Jamil did, the work he is alleged to have done, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. You got hundreds of people in a park at 8 a.m. during the week for a janaza. You know, we're not talking about a funeral in a church and then you leave and go scatter the ashes somewhere. The funeral was out in the community. The funeral was outside already in the community. That's what that means, in their community. The kind of work and dedication that created that. How many of us have that in the communities in which we live, that type of dedication, that type of feeling of community? Do we have it? We got to work towards it. So again, may Allah be pleased. May his ancestors welcome him. May his comrades greet him. I'm sorry that he is gone. I'm sorry that he had to go out that way. He did not deserve it.
Thank you, Chandi.
Thank you, Santi.
I'm gonna pull up the video that Kamal shared, and hopefully I don't get this wrong. But listen, y'all know I don't really be doing this button pushing business. I'm trying. I'm working on it.
Push the button.
I'm
You
pushing
got it.
the
You
button.
got it
Push
today,
the
Renee.
button.
All right.
Got to get the power back. Yeah, and the walls came tumbling down. Yeah, that's where to go. I think it's up by the post office. So we should. Well, I gotta check the mail anyway. So we're gonna walk up there. All right, I'll walk on up. You gonna give me protection? From what? You still be calm.
Okay, but we got to talk about them high waters though. We got to talk about them pants.
That was a style.
We can't. We're not gonna act like we didn't see how high them pants was.
High enough for the flood.
I mean, listen.
Flooding.
Well,
Okay,
maybe not Evan, but I definitely had multiple pairs of those because that was. I was always long, as they say. So.
Long-legged.
The styles come back, but I missed that one. I
was like, bruh, nobody told you about them pants. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
you came out the house like that? No.
That was serious.
But that was still beautiful, though. It was beautiful the way they
Yeah.
embraced one another.
And it's also beautiful to see, you know, if you only pay attention to what the mainstream wants you to understand about these two, the idea of them laughing and enjoying each other's presence and like walking off in comrades and like just that visual of them smile, like cutting jokes and stuff. That is not a side. That's just not a side of them that anybody in mainstream would want to present, right? Because the idea is always to push like this idea, like they're militants and they're evil, you know, militia, whatever this nonsensical thing that the government always does whenever you have Black people who have the audacity to want to support and defend their communities, right? And it's never about them actually just being caring, loving people who care about their community and are willing to do whatever thing needs to be done in order to support and defend that community. And so that video shows that part. It shows that side, right? And it's a great, I don't even have word, like, it's just a great, like, it's a great vision, you know?
Yeah, it's a great clip, a great vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me emotional to see, quite honestly. I think that like it's a beautiful kind of image or video of them. And you're right, Renee, it is like the way in which not to see them. But like it's a reminder that they not only loved each other, right, but loved us enough to like make the sacrifices that they did. And Tandy, I completely agree. I think the thing that I've been so infuriated about, like, not, I mean, obviously his passing, but I've been infuriated that he died in jail, right? Like, as he did not deserve, right? And you're absolutely right that, like, you know, and I think Ori talks about this, right? But like, COINTELPRO never ended, right? It was a program that was morphed into, like, first off, it's a inaccurate term, right? It's a myriad of programs, right, around psychological warfare and neutralization. That need to kind of be, and we need to expand our understanding of that. But it also never ended, right? Like, these programs continued in different ways and under different names, right? And so if he was targeted by COINTELPRO back then, he was going to be continued to target. He was still targeted by the state to such a degree that in 2000 they were able, or 2002 they were able to wrongfully convict him, right? Despite all the evidence, despite a man admitting to having done the murder. Despite, no evidence of his prints on the gun, despite there being blood there that did not belong to the officers or him. So I think, yeah, it's just, I mean, I think that part is just infuriating, but it's nice to have that image of him with Kwame Ture to, like, I don't know, like, I prefer to remember him like that, or like the stories that you're sharing, Tandy. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, there's on a similar subject. There's a photograph I found out about last year. I think it was last year. It's one of Fannie Lou Hamer smiling. And it's like, oh man, we need to see more of our people laughing and smiling. These folks who have fought so hard on our behalf, who have struggled so hard for us, having moments of joy. Because we love our people and we want to free our people so that we are able to have joy and peace. Walking while Black, driving while Black, we can't exist. We cannot exist. That's why we in this struggle, so that we can just exist and smile and laugh and love. And I'm glad that they were able to have those moments, and we need to be reminded that they had those moments and that we should take those moments. Y'all got me up here preaching. I'm supposed to go to sleep.
No, I'm glad you just said that, because I was actually sitting here thinking about, like, the work on this channel and how every now and again, like, we'll opt to do on, like, a Saturday, we'll opt to do something that's less, like, heavy, or, for the first time we did like a just whatever show, and we just yacked and talked with people in the chat and answered questions. And sometimes I get a lot of grief for laughing, because I'm a giggler. I can't really.
They hate it when you giggle, Renee.
They hate it when I giggle. Lord have mercy. And a lot of times my laughter is a reflection of how fucking absurd everything is,
Oh,
right?
the
Like,
absurd. Some
it
people
is
don't understand this. When something is so absurd,
Yeah.
you just have to laugh at it.
right because
Because
there's
it's like,
just
this
no
is
explanation,
crazy.
right? Like, how is this happening?
How
Right?
is
Like,
this
how
happening?
is this happening right
This
now?
is not real.
Exactly. Like this
Yeah.
morning, I caught a part of the UK in chambers. You know, they publicize all of their conversations when they're in chambers. It's all public information, and they were talking they were talking about Ukraine and Russia, and and I'm laughing because it's so fucking absurd. I can't even believe this was the conversation that was happening. And they're waxing poetic about like how upsetting this is for the Ukrainians and that they had to pull Ukrainians from under the rubble. And I almost fell over because these are the same people who are supporting and fully on board with arresting elderly people who survived the Holocaust because they don't support genocide. Like,
Yeah.
what is happening right now? Right?
This is not real. It
Like, this
can't
is
be.
not real. Y'all didn't just say that. We're not talking about the rubble in other places when we ignore the rubble in Palestine. Like, then they skipped completely over everything and they went from Russia to the Sudan. And I was like, did this just if we don't turn this channel off because I can't, these people have lost their minds. They
It's
have
gone.
lost their minds.
The mind is gone. Don't look for it. It ain't there.
Wildness.
That's crazy.
Wildness.
Yeah,
But
That's
Evan,
crazy.
you dropped something else in the chat. And Tondi, I honestly like feel free whenever you get sick of us to go, but feel free to also stay.
Right. You're more
Because
than welcome.
I know I don't often get to share the screen with you. So I am perfectly happy and excited to have you stay as long as you can stay.
I think I got my blood circulating. I'm woke now.
Wait, she just dropped herself off.
Oh no! Oh
She got excited.
she was
hit the button
too.
by mistake.
She's too hyped.
But here, I'll pull up the letter writing campaign that you mentioned,
Okay. Yeah.
and then we
No.
can talk about that. Wow, there
Tondi,
she goes.
she's
There
back.
she goes.
Okay.
And just as I
You got
was
too hyped.
saying,
You got too hyped.
as I was saying,
Hilarious.
yeah, I don't know how that happened, but I'm on my phone. I probably touched something.
Aw,
Yeah, I was
all
saying
right,
that I got my blood circulating, so I'm woke now. So I guess
all
I'll
right,
hang out a little
cool.
longer.
We'll
There
take
we
it.
go.
Yeah. There we
All
go.
right, we're gonna talk about Evan's letter writing. So here we go. All right, there you go, Evan. Take over.
Yeah. So it just felt appropriate, right? As we're honoring Imam Jamil, like I just wanted to highlight some work again. So highlight the work of our solidarity network in BAT. So this is a letter writing to political prisoners. This is the past one that happened yesterday, Monday. But on the last Monday of every month, the BAP SN Prisoner Support Team will host recurring letter writing sessions to support and connect with political prisoners. Our objective is to uplift the importance of writing to political prisoners, to hold us accountable to support them, and work toward their release by all. Whether it's your first letter or your 100th, please join us for this brief monthly gatherings as we write and share collectively. So there's the registration link. I encourage people to engage with this. You know, I know this is something I don't do enough, but I think, yeah, just the passing of such a giant, right? Like reminds me that we have so many political prisoners, you know, locked behind the walls. This is a core part of the work that BAP does, and this is, you know, kind of like the least of the things that we could do to support them, just to like know that we have not forgotten about them, that we still love them, that we appreciate them. So I just want to lift that up, right? Once a month, if you have time on the last Monday, please join the BAP Solidarity Network to facilitate this. And yeah, you know, I just want to highlight that. I just feel like someone to share.
And I feel very out of the loop. I don't know how I missed that announcement for yesterday because I surely would have. Like, I clearly just missed it, and that is also something that I am not. It is something that I keep saying I have to engage in more, the letter writing process. It must be like 2 years ago now. Shout out to Two Black. we did a film screening in New Jersey on the Pendleton 2. And one of the things that I did in coordinating the event was I provided stamped addressed envelopes to people. So all they had to do was write the letter and drop it in the envelope and then mail it off. And and folks took all the envelopes were gone at the end. So I do hope that people took that opportunity to reach out. I struggle with the letter writing because I feel so inadequate.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel very much like, what am I gonna say or write that's gonna and what I get all the time from folks who participate in these regularly is they don't care. Like they just want the letter. Like they don't care what you say. It's the acknowledgement that you recognize that they're there and they exist. And so I think I'll be jumping on those monthly because I like the idea of doing it in community because I feel like it'll be an easier process if I'm sitting amongst others. Tanya, did you want to add something?
No, I was just thinking that's called the warm body theory. It's like you're not necessarily able to do something on your own for whatever reason, but getting in a group with some other people, you're probably more inclined to do something.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's cool. That's cool.
For sure.
The other thing too is when I first started writing political prisoners, I I just say, "Hey, how you doing? I heard about you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what you did for Black people." That would be like my initial letter to them, and develop a correspondence from there. So if you say you're not quite sure what to say, you can start with that.
I love that actually.
Yeah.
Now
I
you got to
appreciate
be
that.
careful though. You can't be writing them. We're gonna bust you out on Thursday. So make sure you're in the eastern part of the yard. You can't do that shit. You can't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Renee. Don't do that, Renee.
Look, I'll be trying to come up with codes. Get this book.
Read
Oh,
page
man.
65 of this book, and then you'll know where I'll be waiting.
Make sure you come out your cell last. No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Since we are speaking on supporting political prisoners, I will bring this up very quickly because this is happening. Actually, the march starts this week, and so there are folks who have put together a march for Mamiya, and they are marching they're starting at Uncle Bobby's, which questionable given all of that shit, but whatever. They're starting at Uncle Bobby's in Philly, and they're marching to the prison. And I think it's like a 10-day process, and they're going to stop at different points along the march and do press conferences and statements and all those things. So I don't know. I mean, I can't march for 10 days, but me and my husband are probably going to try and meet up with the marching group along the path. But there's, in addition to just trying to do the support for Mamiya and to bring more eyes to Mamiya's case, they're also highlighting the fact that prison has become a death sentence, whether you've been sentenced to death or not. The failures of providing appropriate medical care, the elder abuse. Like there's a list of things that this group is also trying to highlight, in addition to just bringing eyes to Mamiya's case. But for folks that are in or around the Pennsylvania, Philly, northern Pennsylvania area, this march is happening. It's going to kick off on Friday, and they're going to march to the prison. And if you go to that website, and I'll drop the actual link for the site in the chat. If you go to the website, you can get some information on the march and the different places that they're going to stop and all that additional information.
Yeah, and same. I know Leah put this in the chat, but I feel the same way. Right, Lee said, I have to say, when I heard about Imam passing, I thought of me. I'll leave it at saying. So lost Tandy again.
She lost Tanya again. She probably doesn't realize she's pushing the hang up button.
I think so. Okay, I had two more groups of things I want to touch on. I want to touch on the cop stuff because we have some BAP stuff to talk about for that, and then to kind of not wrap up, but like the week of defend the week of action in support of Venezuela. Ended. Thank you.
You ain't there.
I know. Right? I was looking at all these tabs. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, I want to hit on some stuff for that as well. So,
but you wanted unless Tande has something. Tande, you have anything else you wanted to add before we start talking about some other stuff, or
what y'all talking about? Y'all ain't talking about nothing. What y'all talking about? Y'all ain't talking about nothing. What y'all talking about? What y'all getting ready to talk about?
We're about to talk about Venezuela for a second.
Okay.
Just this, this
maybe
last week of action that we just did.
Maybe I'll actually bow out. No, seriously, I thank you all for allowing me to vent. I had to get that off my chest about Imam Jamil. But I will allow the international political discussion to take place without me.
Thank you for joining, Tande. I appreciate you.
Thank you
your
for
input this
having
morning was definitely necessary and welcomed, and I just appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciated your additions, and I know the chat appreciated. Obviously, chat appreciated as well, even if you can't see it. So
I appreciate the chat, and I'm threatening. I might just join y'all on another morning. We'll see.
Come on now, don't tease us now.
I know, don't get people excited.
Don't get our hopes up.
All right, Tande, take care. Have a good one.
All right, y'all. I'll let y'all have it. Peace.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. Okay, so I'm sending you some stuff.
All right, what do you want me to start with? The Instagram?
Do the post first, yeah.
The
Instagram post. My fault.
Listen. Don't be confusing me and switching up words. Sorry. I said one thing, you come with something else.
Sorry. My bad. One day I'll share my screen
bad
myself.
Enough. Y'all got me pushing all these buttons. All right, here we go.
So this is a dope post that I wanted to highlight. And first and foremost, you'll see the QR code there on the top left. If you scan that, it will take you to a fact sheet entitled "Mass Struggle Against the War on Venezuela and the Caribbean." Shout out to the Haiti Americas team, BAP's Haiti America teams for building that. But we want to go through a couple of these slides to highlight, and then maybe even show the fact sheet. But even though the week of action in support of Venezuela's sovereignty has ended, the U.S. war on Venezuela has not. So we need to continue to talk about this. We need to continue to elevate this, and don't want it to kind of leave people's consciousness. And this, kind of slideshow or this post, a 20-year war on Venezuelan sovereignty, pages from the U.S. imperialist playbook. It's just going over the numerous examples, right, of the U.S. threatening Venezuela's sovereignty, violating Venezuela's sovereignty over the many years, right? So this first one is fund and armed coups, right? The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, under both Chavez and Maduro, has faced a number of overt and covert attempts to overthrow its government and destroy its socialist project. Below are 2 overt coup attempts. These are from 2002 and May 2020. 2002 is an important example because Chavez was briefly ousted and the people rose up and got him back in power, right? So when we talk about, political leaders being reflections of the movement, not the movement themselves, like that's what we mean, right? There is no kind of U.S. equivalent to this, right? Of someone who would be, in prison and the people would come out in the streets to free them, right? Like, it's just, you can't even compare. So, that's an example. If we go to the next slide, right? Number 2, create myth that the pre-socialist days were the golden age. We hear this all the time, right? Dictatorship in Venezuela started, right, with Chavez, right? But we see before Chavez, and the story from the U.S. is, right, so everything was great before, right? Just like in Cuba, everything was great before, right? Well, we know that before Chavismo in Venezuela, right, the myth is that it was a prosperous and wealthy nation with minimal social and economic and political crises. The myth is that it was a nation with a well-managed economy. The myth is that it was a stable democracy. In fact, at its economic peak in 1977, from that point, it reached its economic peak in 1977. And from that point, the economy was on a steady decline for 2 decades. Only 57% of Venezuelans were able to afford more than one meal a day. That's more than half, right? Like, I mean, these percentages are crazy when you just put it in perspective, but only 57% of Venezuelans were able to afford more than one meal a day, 50%, a full half, poverty rate when Chavez was elected. And then, formerly was ruled through state oppression. President Perez welcomed IMF-imposed austerity measures on an already impoverished and struggling population. Thousands of protesters were killed in the streets. An example would be the 1989 Caracosa massacre. And we can kind of continue. I'll more briefly go over these, right? Again, terrorize the population, right, through economic warfare, through overt warfare, right? There's military strikes that have been happening. Discourage resistance, right? And this is, Southcom is an important part of this, right? Call all elections into doubt, right? No matter how many people voted, no matter what the outcome is, like unless their right-wing person won, it was a false election, right? Criminalize leadership, right? I don't know under what authority the U.S. thinks that it can criminalize anyone outside of its borders, but of course they'll do that regardless, right? And in support of the accusations of Maduro being a drug trafficker, the U.S. issued a $50 million bounty on him.
I was just about to say, like, the audacity, right? And I really want to encourage people to read the Fort Bragg cartel book because, good Lord, like, I can't. Just.
Yeah. I mean, and even the story that Tandy was sharing earlier, right, about Imam Jamil and other comrades, right, going into dope houses and like throwing the dope away, or getting rid of the dope dealers, right? And people asking them, why aren't you going to give it back to the cops, right? This is why, because the cops, the state, the feds, right, the CIA, they're all a part of this. They're the reason why these drugs are in our community in the first place, right? And the audacity, of them to accuse anyone else, of doing what they are so well known to have done or to continue to be doing is just crazy. What are we at? The ruling class doesn't want us to know. All right, that's what. So yeah, and I'll read this, right? What the ruling class doesn't want us to know, right? In contradiction of all of the propaganda, founded in 2004 by Hugo Chavez and Fidel Castro, ALBA, the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our Americas, expresses Simón Bolivar's vision for the pan-South American state that unites and defends the Americas from the imperialist domination and capitalist exploitation of the U.S. and its allies. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro remains committed to this vision. That is the issue. Like, that's the issue. That's the beef. The Bolivarian Revolution is developing popular democracy, right? It's something that we have no idea about here in the States, right? We don't understand. All we understand is like going to vote, every so often, right, for some kind of representative, supposedly to represent you, right? But building a popular democracy is something that's completely foreign to us here in the States. And yeah, we are fighting for people-centered zone of peace in our Americas, right? And these are ways that you can contribute, to mobilize, to coordinate, to amplify, right? As Ricky shared in the chat, like and share this post. Go to the fact sheet and just if you can show them again, Renee on the front. Or no, actually, you can just go to the fact sheet. It's cool. But
I was about to say, whoops.
Yeah, no worries. But like I said, in that post at the very beginning, there's a QR code, and if you scan that QR code, it will take you to this fact sheet that Renee's about to pull up right now. Again, created by Babs Haiti and America's team. Mass struggle against the war on Venezuela and the Caribbean, right? So we have like what's happening, what can you do? There's a full toolkit around messaging, hashtags, things like that, right? A lot of this was, meant to be used for the week of action, right? But it can be used continuously, as you see, right? And there's also connections to other resources. So this is a very dense, not dense. It's a very full, right, and generative document, right? So please engage with this, right? And share this, right, with other people that may not have this information. So I did want to highlight those things.
Should we? I'm gonna just drop that doc and
the link. Yeah.
Link. So here's the toolkit, right?
Yeah, and join the U.S. NATO Out of America's network. If you go home for Ricky.
And then hold on, I'll share the Instagram post so that folks can find it easily.
Awesome, thank you. What else? What else do I have over here?
You said something about police, which actually reminded me of something that I have access to, but you go first because I have to find the thing that I was.
Oh, you know what?
Me of it.
I said cop.
Oh, cop. Oh, you meant cop. See, okay, gotcha. But okay, but no, go first. You go first because I gotta find the thing.
Let me find because there was a which link is it? 1 second. So BAP has an article. Yes, there we go. Which I will drop also to you.
And just so the audience knows, one of the things we're gonna work on is Evan pushing his own buttons. If I can figure it out, guess who else can figure it out?
Listen, I'm happy to figure it out. Just not live. You know what I mean? The way my internet is set up, I will crash this whole thing.
All right. This is it, right? Okay.
Yeah. So Black Alliance for Peace questions the relevance and efficacy of Conference of Parties COP following its 30th summit. So for those that might not be aware, this event just happened. Ostensibly, right, this is the way in which the world is supposed to be coming together to unite to reduce the effects of climate change and to ostensibly, keep the heating of the earth within a certain range. None of that is happening. And this has been going on for quite some time, right? But this BAP statement is really about the most recent COP. So I'm going to read a little bit of this if we just kind of scroll down. Black Alliance for Peace questions the relevance and efficacy of the Conference of Parties, COP, following its 30th summit. COP 30 represents the latest failure of nation states and the United Nations to effectively address the climate crisis and its root causes. So I'm gonna read a bit of this. The failure of the Conference of Parties COP 30th Annual Climate Change Summit to produce an agreement and requisite interventions to address an accelerating and worsening climate crisis places those most impacted by it, oppressed and colonized people in the global south, in a cauldron of interlinked calamities, while also raising serious questions about the legitimacy and efficacy of COP summits. While it's unacceptable that a global climate summit would not even agree on language calling for rapid phase out of fossil fuels, it's not surprising given the fact that over 1,600 lobbyists and executives representing big oil cartels and their interests attended COP 30. On this front, Black Alliance for Peace member and co-lead of our Climate, Environment, and Militarism Initiative, Anthony Carefa Rogers Wright, who was in Brazil for the summit, stated, quote, "The legitimacy of COP 30 was put into question from the outset by the very fact that some of the biggest culprits of climate change and the lives it has and will take were allowed to take part and influence the discussions and decisions of the summit. The ubiquitous presence of these lobbyists clearly contaminated the process in the same way their fossil fuel products are contaminating our planet and public health. And while it's encouraging that we're leaving Brazil with a just transition framework for the first time in the COP's history, I wonder how this framework can commence if there's no commitment to phasing out fossil fuels. What are we transitioning from exactly? It's kind of like aiming to play a soccer match without any balls," end quote. The fact that COP 30 concluded without agreement on the phase out of fossil fuels all but guarantees that 1.5 and 2 degrees Celsius thresholds set in Paris Agreement of COP 21 will be breached in the next 20 to 100 years, respectively, if not sooner. For this reason, equity-focused climate finance is key and must be funded by the wealthiest nations to enable global South nations to adapt to and mitigate climate change impacts. On this point, the COP 30 agreement again fails to deliver as wealthy nations could only agree on allocating $120 billion per year in a program that won't even commence until 2035. Quote, this tawdry amount of money is a drop in the bucket and shows that global South nations and the poor are not a priority for the COP or wealthy nations, who in many cases intentionally underdevelop and continue to extract from global South nations, noted Ajamu Baraka, founder of Black Alliance for Peace and current director of North-South Project for People-Centered Human Rights, who was also on location at COP30. So I will stop here, but want to kind of highlight this for anyone to read, of course. And I just want to shift over to Ajamu's comments, just because I think they're incredibly, well, they're always relevant. Shout out to the comrade. But there was like a people summit, right, as this was going on in Brazil, to actually talk about the real issues that people are facing. And Ajamu spoke there. So I want to play that. Renee, I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to try.
Look at you.
I'm going to jump out there. Let's see, man. I'm about to crash. If I crash, just know that I said I was worried.
You also drop it in the chat too, so if you crash, you don't leave me sitting here by myself.
That would actually be. That's what
there we go.
Just in case.
Don't do me like that, please.
Okay. Just so you have it, in case anything happens. Working it out live on the Remix Morning Show. Thank you so much for the chat, for everybody's patience. Appreciate everyone as we continue to move through without the ear doctor. And for all people always criticizing the ear doctor, there's much to criticize, but in this respect, he is incredibly useful. Okay, can I do the entire screen? Is that gonna work? Let's see. Okay, no, I can't share my entire screen. That's fine. I'll share a section. Get a window. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's see. Where the ear doctor at? I'm so mad. All right.
Look at you. Look at you.
It's happening. Okay. Let me wait, can you hear this?
No.
You can hear that?
Mm-mm. Did you turn the sound on? Bottom corner? Is the sound on?
Oh wait, on the link or
on the actual on the actual video is your sound on?
I did do that. So when I'm clicking, you see my arrow right here?
Yeah.
I'm clicking this.
All right. So there's also a button that says share audio when you share screen.
Oh my god.
That you might have missed. Okay.
Try one more time, y'all. I'm sorry. Swear to God.
Listen, this is how we grow.
Right. Y'all don't know my favorite thing to do is to grow live on air. That is the most fun.
Very quickly. Yes. This was unblocked, and per conversations and multiple things, it was actually not intended to be a block. That was a false button push. But you know.
Okay. Yes. Justice for God is crew. Okay, I think I figured it out.
The face, though.
Maybe, because I'm not sure. All right. Okay, let's see if this happens one more time. I'm gonna test, and you let me know if you can hear.
See that the plight of the Palestinians.
Yes.
Yes, you did it.
Okay, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna start the audio, and then I'm gonna run it back, and then I'm gonna start from the beginning. Thank you for everybody's patience.
Illustrated the nature.
All right, here we go for all this time.
Today we see that the plight of the Palestinians has taken a even more ominous development. The live stream genocide has not only demonstrated the nature of Zionism, but demonstrated the inability of the international community to have any accountability over the state of Israel. It has revealed how precarious the situation is for all of us on this planet, because it allows for Israel, with its main supporter, the United States of America to engage in international lawlessness. And so we have seen the results. The Israeli attack on Lebanon, the Israeli attack on Syria, and the criminal attack against the state of Iran, followed by the even more criminal attack by the United States of America on Iran. And now we have ships and military men posed to engage in an attack on Venezuela. This is an example of the kind of lawlessness that says to us, the people, that the only way we counter that lawlessness is through more effective organization. The struggle in Gaza continues. The genocide in Gaza continues. The ecocide that we see as a result of the attack on Gaza has laid the foundation for the continuation of the genocide. Because even after the bombs stop falling, if they ever do, the result of the Palestinians being forced to live in a toxic waste dump means that now they carry in their bodies the means for early death. We've already seen the reports of Palestinian women giving birth to children with severe birth defects. And we have seen this before. We saw this as a consequence of the war in Vietnam, in Laos and Cambodia, in Iraq. Today, we see that the plight of...
All right. So the reason I wanted to share this one is because I can never do better than Ajamu speaking, just laying all this out. But as you can see, right, this was at the Geopolitics of Genocide talk at the Federal University of Para, Brazil, right, during COP, right? So there was a necessity to organize outside of this structure, right, because it's very clearly not meeting the needs of the people, right? And there, Ajamu was able to break down, right, not just this ecocide that these wealthy nations are committing against our planet and against our people, especially the people of the global South, but also connecting to the genocide in Gaza, right, and just the militarism of the U.S. empire more broadly speaking. You know, this is a reminder, right? The U.S. military is the largest polluter, right, in the world, right? Not just so the U.S. military is not just this immense suck on like financial resources and resources of other kinds, right? It is an immense polluter, right? And Comrade Jared has been on this channel talking about like his experience on that aircraft carrier and how much money it took per day and how much gas it took per day to operate that vehicle. So, you know, just want to highlight this and kind of let people know, right? Like these things are all connected, right? This ecocide, this genocide, right? Imperialism, settler colonialism, like these things are deeply intertwined and connected. And want to kind of highlight that through the failure of COP, right? But also the organization outside. And look who decided to join us.
I have babies. I got babies.
I gave the warning that I had heard from you and that you were going to try and get here after you navigated drop off. So
the rain,
I did.
in the thunderstorm.
I did try. You showed up with the sexy open collar going. So
True.
You know, we're gonna.
Don't get jealous. You here for this? Do I leave? Don't be jealous. I just don't need to be here for this part. I just don't want
to. Kamal try to distract from being late.
Right. Right. Popping out like, yeah.
Let me open that up a little bit for y'all. Let me open that up for the audience right there. You know what I'm saying?
It's paler than it gets brighter and brighter.
Wow. Et tu, Brutus. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So Tandi joined us this morning, and we played the clip that you shared of Imam Jamil and brother Carmichael. And so that was probably outside of the picture of Imam Jamil with the gun and the baby. I think the video was like my second favorite part. But I don't know. We can backtrack for a little bit because, you know, you all at Community Movement Builders are so deeply invested in this effort of working with our political prisoners, of working with our alumni body of community savers, you know, from folks from the Black Panthers and on. So I don't know if you want to, we can take a little step back for a little while and have you speak on it for you know.
Only very quickly. Unfortunately, I never got to know Brother Imam Jamil. So it, you know, any reflection is just from the historical sense of what an important figure he was in terms of movement and politics and organizing. Someone who spanned, you know, SNCC to the Panthers, who kept organizing, particularly even after he joined or became joined the Islamic faith. And in Atlanta, he holds, obviously, this is where things went down, but in Atlanta, he holds special significance because his mosque was one that went into a particular section of Atlanta called the West End. And from the ground up, did work to quote unquote clean it up. You know what I mean? And what's meant by that is that, you know, he and his mosque, his masjid and members confronted acts of crime and tried to support the neighborhood and community, continue to do organizing work, continue to hold the same politics. So key in terms of being captured and as framed and put away was a loss to the Atlanta community and what was left of that time period. So, you know, and it was obviously, I think there's a lot of great emotion and pouring out of sympathy. This is one of those time periods where we are losing a lot of our elders, right? People who are in their 80s and 90s and through various means. But obviously, like ultimately, we can say the state killed Brother Jamil. He was captured by the state, imprisoned by the state, never received proper medical support for the conditions that he had. So he did not die of natural causes, no matter what they say. He did not die of an illness strictly, no matter what they say. He died because of improper treatment and being languished in a prison that he did not belong in. And so, you know, all respect due to him and his community, to the elders that you're right, we still try to do work with and support through the Panther Fund. Hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some really great news around some work we're going to be doing internationally and with some members, veteran members of the Black Panther Party. So that's going to be exciting if it comes to fruition. And these folks still matter in the sense that they're still out there. They're still organizing in some ways. They're still offering advice. They're still trying to be involved. So, you know, all respect, rest in power, and all praises due to him, his colleagues, his fellow folks who were in his masjid, to his comrades, and love to him and his family. Yeah.
Thanks, Kamal. And yes, but in the video, and this is what happens when you do stuff and you're like live, because he called him karma, like he called him so that's the name that was in my head. So I, you know, listen, we try our best.
Yeah. We're doing our best. Listen, Renee was pushing buttons this morning. I shared my screen. Like, I don't think we're in new territory this morning.
New territory. And because someone asked this question, I couldn't join online on Saturday. So KY777 says you should reiterate PACA's line of PPWF and linking the connection between community control of health and support for political prisoners. PACA had a great session on medical neglect. And you also just celebrated your 10th anniversary over the weekend. How did that go?
Yeah, that was awesome. And thank you for reminding me because I had this pulled up as well. You know what? I'm gonna share my own screen. I have power now. I feel confident.
He's so proud of himself now. Look at him.
I am proud of myself, man. This is a struggle. But you're absolutely right. PACA did celebrate our 10th anniversary this past Saturday. Shout out to the Palestine House of Freedom. near Eastern Market on Capitol Hill for providing that space. Shout out to Miko Peled, who was there, who like introduced us to the space. I believe he's like the director of that space potentially. I know he helped found it, so shout out to him. For those who are not aware about Miko Peled, he was actually raised in Israel. His family was, and he comes from like a military family that was like very involved in the colonization and the of Palestine. And he, through, I'm sure it was, a very difficult process, came to a place of anti-Zionism and now speaks out and does everything he can and against the Zionist entity. So like, shout out to him. Shout out to Son of None, a rapper who I admittedly was not as familiar with previously, but like has, revolutionary bars. And man, he like did a mini concert during the event, which was really dope. And I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, these bars are like better than like most of the things you hear on the radio. Most of the things, and it's just crazy to me that he's not more well known. And then you hear him talking, he's like, oh, that's why, right? Because he has politics, right? Because he has a perspective that, So all that to say, it was a really awesome event. Shout out to all my comrades who put that on and were in attendance, and also for the community to come and support, right? We had a lot of people from the community. We had past PACA members there. We had BAT members there. We had members of the community who've appreciate our programming there. So just want to put this up, right? Our goal is still to raise $5,000, right? And in particular, that is to support our Sada Shakur study group, which is our popular public education effort to educate the community, to raise radical consciousness around these types of issues like medical neglect of political prisoners. And 2, our People's Pan-African Wellness Front, which is our attempt to address the material conditions of in terms of health of people in our community. That has been a phased approach. It started off with us door knocking, trying to understand people's needs, trying to get a sense of what their experiences in the capitalist healthcare system, while also simultaneously providing specific ASSGs on those topics, on the failures of the capitalist healthcare system in the United States and the ways it does not meet our community needs. Gave examples of revolutionary models, right, of health, not just abroad, like in places like Cuba, right, but also work of Panthers here, or the Lincoln Detox Center, and it goes on, right? So we, did that education ASSG and are now in the next phase of our People's Pan-African Wellness Front, in which we are distributing health materials, right? Sanitation napkins, sanitation pads, tampons, alcohol wipes, like things of that nature, right? Relatively basic things, right? But we want to, make sure that we're trying to at least kind of approximate and try to meet people's needs. And this is a phased approach. So eventually we hope to kind of further develop our capacity to provide for people. But this is where we're at right now. So please, if you are able, please use this QR code to donate and help support that work. And yeah, I mean, the medical neglect, when we talk about the war on African people, when we talk about the way in which we are not disconnected from our political prisoners and indeed all of our people locked up behind the walls, right? The medical neglect that they experience behind the walls, right, is a part and parcel of the same system that denies us proper medical care here outside of the walls, right? That is the reason why there is a 15-year difference in age expectancy on the south side of DC versus on the upper northwest side, the rich white part. So, just want to highlight that, want to highlight the work of PACA. Please donate if you can. And yeah, we had an awesome, celebration on Saturday, but the work continues, right? So yeah, we appreciate all the support.
Yay.
Thank you. I don't know if you have something, but this came across my you gotta love the system. So this came across my my feeds on one of these 80,000 things that I'm a part of, and I was like, what? How did they do this? So it turns out that NYCLU has been busy. They requested the information for the misconduct of correction officers, community supervisors across the state of New York, and they got 20 years of records. And because ACLU is so good at doing some shit, and I am fully on board with doing some shit. They put all this information together in this handy dandy little database.
Would you look at that?
So you can now, if you are like me and nosy as fuck, go through this database and just, you know, take a look see at all of the criminal behavior happening within the New York State correctionals facilities. But this database is wild because why is it so fucking long?
Jesus
What
Christ.
is happening? I
Jesus.
mean, not that, listen, and I say that very, like, obviously we know that it is wild, but
Yeah.
look, we in the 2000s and we're not even close to the bottom of the list.
And to be
So,
clear, this is a list of all of the prison guards who've been accused or suspended for misconduct. Is that right?
misconduct, correct.
Hmm.
So these are the ones that have been caught.
Yeah,
Right. These are the ones who've been caught. So
So
you have all like the penalty, what they did. It's the whole list. So I'll drop this link in the chat, but you know, as per usual, my goal in life is to always call out this shitty ass system. I do love that Alec Karakatsanis refers to it as the punishment bureaucracy. I think that's a great term for it. But you know, databases like these where you can actually like see for yourself how absurd the system is, how much they're allowed to get away with, like all these things I feel like is necessary information as we continue on this process to depropagandize people. Yes, this is just New York. Just New York. So
yeah.
So this is some wild stuff, but I wanted to share it and because I got it yesterday and I was like, oh, wait.
we all know Renee. We all know Renee loves a spreadsheet. I was gonna say, like, the thing when you were saying what you're committed to, I was like, you're committed to calling out injustice, but also bonus points in the spreadsheet.
Right, basically. I'm all about the spreadsheet. Let's go.
And I want to be clear too from the spreadsheet, but it looks like these are the prisons, New York State prisons.
Yes.
So this does not include Rikers, which is
no, this is not Rikers.
No. Yeah, somebody asked. So imagine Rikers would have its own list of misconduct.
That would probably be as long as the full state list. So.
Yeah. I just want to pull up this comment from Lady Alex M1339. I worked as a prison nurse in New Mexico for several months, and I was like, what?
Evan!
That's just my brain. That's not New Mexico for several months. I feel like the ear doctor, and I heard many stories about abuse by CEOs there. I did not witness this myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I mean, luckily, thank goodness, we now have a socialist mayor in New York, and he has kept on the radical, you know, liberatory police commissioner Tish, I believe is her name, and so I'm sure all this is going to get cleaned up.
Something that's just mean. Have y'all ever watched the videos of Lady Tish speaking?
I have not seen any.
I feel like I have things that I can't say on air.
Yeah, I'm not even this. I probably shouldn't say it out loud, but Lord, she's got like this thing with her neck, and like this turkey neck thing. Like I don't know what is happening under there.
Can we please take a little time and find one video to bring up?
Yo, please find the one. Yo, find the one she's speaking in APAC in that fucking leather jacket. She looks like a Nazi.
Please. Yo, it's wild. Okay, so I'll take a look, and in the meanwhile, you all can discuss, because I will say I was surprised to learn this. In my opinion, I am cautiously pessimistic about it, which I was told is better than being Afro-pessimistically unhappy about it. And so I'm cautiously pessimistic about the fact that he has also brought on Alex Vitale as part of his transition team. And Alex Vitale wrote the book End of Policing. And so I don't know if this is in part him trying to like navigate how does he slowly, because I will say I have zero faith in anything changing under Mamdani, right? Like this is, I just don't. And I will be happily incorrect about that. Like I'll happily eat those words and happily like pull them in. I just don't have any faith that anything's going to actually go well. However, the only thing that I will say is, you know, he appears at times to be trying to pull people in who seem to be people that I'm not 100% like, oh Lord, what is going on with this person? So, you know, maybe.
I think that there's. I know Alex Ventale from CUNY organizing days, like when he was a grad student and I was an organizer and he was an organizer. And so he has a long history in movement politics before he became a professor, I guess, or a graduate, a doctorate, got his doctorate and started writing and became a professor. Retains his progressive to left politics. So I do again agree with you. I think it's interesting because I do think the guy, unlike some of these other folks, has real politics. I don't doubt for a second that he has real left politics. The question becomes, what is he, in the game playing scenarios in which people think that if they give a little of this, they can take a little of that. What is he willing to give? Well, how much is he willing to give? How much is he being forced to give? How much it is unnecessary? And whether or not he's going to be able to accomplish, like you said, whether or not he's going to be able to accomplish something, particularly with a move, which I don't think he needed to make, which was to retain Tish, an open Zionist, an open kind of staunch police in your face commissioner. Whether or not he needed to retain her, he is the incoming mayor. One of the things that he has complete power over is choosing his commissioners for his office. He did not have to give in and keep this person, which was basically him giving something to moderate Democrats and right-wing politicians in order, and I guess in his estimation, to receive some sort of benefit for something later on. Again, he did not have to come out in support of Hakeem Jeffries over somebody who's running for Hakeem Jeffries' spot, who supported him early, a city council person who supported him early in his race, and as opposed to supporting that person, he came out and supported Hakeem Jeffries right away. He did not need to do that. Hakeem Jeffries, air quotes, endorsed him like a day before his election, almost literally. So some of these moves, I think that he thinks he's making, I don't think they're moves that he needs to make in order to prove he can work as an insider or work with the established class to get things done. It just seems far too early to be giving in to some of these, to be giving in this way before you even gotten into office. This does not bode well. Like having Alex Vitale give you recommendations for progressive policy, but yet you have a police commissioner who are going to look at those policies and go, no, 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 no. And at this stage, dare you to fire her. And you've now given her a seal of approval. So now you've already set up your first controversial act once you come in, which is, are you going to challenge the police commissioner, which you've now endorsed, knowing that you're going to get tremendous pushback, when it would have been far easier for you to get rid of her now, or get rid of her, or let her know that her days are numbered and start that search about what you were trying to seek and look for. So, I think these people get into these offices and think they're going to maneuver and make these concessions in order to get something else out of it. And I agree. I'm not quite sure what is going to happen. I am happy that he was elected compared to the other candidates, right? I do think it was a good thing. I think it was a good thing for people to even see, again, the mechanisms of how this stuff works, that somebody who considers themselves to be progressive left, what the right wing and the Democrats themselves do to stop that person. But again, how that person may capitulate when it's not even needed to capitulate.
And I just want to point out, I don't know what the context is for this video, but I needed to find one where this thing that she has going on underneath her chin was happening.
Oh my God.
That's really all that I was looking for, because I just don't even understand it. And so we're all going to suffer now, because I just feel like I shouldn't do that alone.
At this point,
But
here's
look
what
at that.
we know.
Look at that.
Just
look at
before
that.
6 a.m.
What-
this
like, what
morning,
is- what-
EMS
where's her
responded to an
chin? I
unconscious
don't
male
understand.
in front of 1046 Thomas S.
Why does it look
Boylan
like
Street
that?
in the
I
Brownsville
need help.
section
Somebody help
of
me.
Brooklyn.
Somebody help me.
Upon arrival, they could
Why?
see a victim had been shot, and they notified the NYPD.
Why?
The victim.
She is she's part of a billionaire family, right? I don't know much about, I don't know anything about her history, whether or not she has been a cop all her life or she's somebody who,
No.
yeah, like I don't know how she got, obviously, what's his name appointed her, Adams, right? So
Yeah.
but I don't know what her history is in terms of this stuff, but this is the daughter, granddaughter, whatever, of a billionaire family.
Yes. Whose name is all over New York City, by the way, because they own a portion of NYU.
Yeah. They also have I think a Zionist museum in Israel. I feel like something like that. Though the family
she's
does.
an overt Zionist. She's like,
oh yeah, straight up,
full out. Yes,
yeah,
yes,
straight
full
up.
out. Yeah.
Dang, I can't.
So here's the press. Here, I found the press release.
Yeah, because I gotta do a shout out
of her
for one of
history
these comments.
and story. Hold on. So this is the press release when he appointed her. I see the neck didn't look much better then either. Y'all, every time she talks, I'm so distracted by it, I can't even hear anything she's saying. I have to
imagine that's the person that puts you away for forever.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
Listen. All right, so it turns out, so I guess she is a veteran of the NYPD. What it doesn't, I guess, I don't know if it'll go in any further. Current commissioner of the NYC Department of Sanitation.
Right, she went from the sanitation department commissioner to the police department. This is only what money can buy. This is about what money can buy.
Fail up.
The trash revolution, which I don't know if anybody lives in New York. The trash revolution did not go well. Just an FYI. A safer city. Blah blah blah. Interim. For 12 years, this is her speaking. For 12 years, I cherished the special privilege of serving alongside the brave women and men of the New York City Police Department. I've seen firsthand the profound nobility of the policing profession. I don't even know if I can read this with a straight face. And I was proud to work shoulder to shoulder with both uniformed members and civilians to propel the NYPD into the next century of technological advancement. Wow.
She went from being a commissioner of one form of trash to another form of
trash. I was about to say, it's right there. The jokes write themselves.
She was appointed in 22 for the waste collection. I'm so confused.
Previously, she was also the commissioner of New York City Department of Information.
So she just went from commissioner to commissioner.
This is all about what money can buy, right? This has nothing to do with any special intelligence, any background. This is all about what money can buy.
Look at this. Look. Okay, here it is. This is her career with the NYPD. She served as a deputy commissioner of information technology and oversaw the 911 operations. Man, stop it.
Nice.
This is all about the donations from her family to somebody else that puts her in a particular. I would love to. A graduate of Harvard School of Business,
Harvard Law School.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So she paid to get. Oh, she went to Harvard Law.
Yeah. No, this is all about. This is like you said. You said the exact right way. This is all about filling upwards. This is somebody who's brought their way into various commissionerships. You can't. There's nothing on there. I might have to see another complete resume. There's nothing on there that would suggest to you that somebody like this should be the commissioner of sanitation to start with, of the technology department, of the police commission. This is about filling upwards. This is about having an extremely rich family that puts you into these positions. And so obviously she's surrounded by people, but she's bringing in a certain illogical view. And that's what she's in there for, right? So again, I see no reason whatsoever why Madani had felt the urge, the necessity, the desire to let this be one place where he felt compromise was needed, when he could have easily used this as an occasion to do the opposite, If you're such a radical figure who's saying you're taking New York City in another direction, and you say you have all these ideas around reforming police, why would you put somebody in there who is a hard right-wing advocate of a genocide, basically, that you said that you're against? It just, again, this is about somebody suggesting that they're making compromises, but the compromises you're making are not necessary at this particular stage.
No. And
I'm curious because I'm looking for it to see if I can find it. There was a big dust up the other day because something about leaked documents from the DSA, and everybody was up in arms about his anti-Israel stance, which, I mean,
wait, so DSA members were up in arms about Mamdani's?
No, the mainstream media was up in arms because there was some documents, some DSA documents leaked. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they were documents that Mamdani wrote or if he was just included. I'm not 100% sure because I'll be honest, y'all, I'm a little sick of this whole Mamdani story. So I didn't follow the path too far. But apparently he was talking about shutting down that office in Tel Aviv that NYPD is, they have that satellite, whatever in Tel Aviv, and talking about removing funding from places if it's in support of Israel. So I honestly did not. I was trying to see if I could find the story, and I don't know, Kamal, if you're looking for it.
I just found one from somebody who seems to be some influencer. Okay. I'm a little reluctant because it's a weird looking video, but I'm going to bring it up. I'm like, okay, this is somebody explaining what they say is day one of what Madani's plans are. And again, similar, I've not heard this, and so if this turns out to be something crazy, I'm going to snatch it down real quick.
Okay. There we go. That's the plan.
Just 4 days ago on November 2nd.
The release of the documents.
All right, guys, we need to talk about Mamdani's day one plan. So Mamdani campaigned and won on affordability. But now that he has won the election, his smile is off and his true colors are showing. So I have just read the meeting notes from a leaked document from the latest DSA meeting that occurred just 4 days ago on November 2nd. And it reads like an anti-Semitism wish list. There's absolutely no mention of affordability anywhere to be found. It is literally only about attacking Israel politically and economically.
Okay, so this is good.
This is what New York City just elected.
Yay!
So my friend Aliza made a video exposing this, but
I don't want to play the rest of that thing.
We need to hear about Aliza.
Exposing it. I mean, not for nothing, but of all the things to dislike about Mamdani, his utter support. Obviously. His utter support of the Palestinian struggle is not on my list of things. Just an FYI. And not for nothing, one of the things I think that had been pretty clear all along was that he had been participating in this pro-Palestinian work for like well over a decade. So this whole the mask is off. The mask was not on. These people are so stupid. Ooh, Lordy.
It's weird. All of the first things that I see on the leaked documents are from pro-Israel, pro-Zionist.
Yep, that was what I saw too, which is why I was like,
I'm trying to find something that gives us a more nuanced view of what the leaked documents are supposed to be saying.
Okay. While you look at that, I do have something come out. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, great.
Well, I just want to give credit because I know the way I was able to lay eyes on Tish was this way, right? From the Hamon 93. LOL, Renee been watching Deculturation. I have been watching Deculturation. Shout out to the comrade Carlos over there and his long ass streams, but they are always packed with good stuff. And then from Sayla 33, Deculturation showed how she looks like Mitch McConnell's daughter. She does. And I just wanted to, if it's okay, play this is the clip that I was talking about, Renee, because I'm just like, it's the way in which the cop, New York cop image is just one for one with a neo-Nazi kind of vibe is just real off-putting to me. I just wanted to share. Maybe
Is
I'm
it
the only
only
one.
off-putting? That's it. That's all.
Not
That's
me.
you off-putting?
I have other things to say, but I can't say
There's
them
many
here.
words for it. Yeah.
I have lots of feelings. Let me see. Where is this? Oh, there it is. Okay. So I will only play like a little bit of this. Obviously, I encourage everyone to go check out Deculturation. He created this channel as he describes to combat liberal Zionism and to call out white YouTube or Wonder Bread Tube, and he is doing an excellent job at that. So shout out to him. But this is just a little clip of Tish speaking at, you guessed it, APAC.
This is what they're talking about. Thank you, Montana, for that wonderful introduction.
Woo, Montana.
And of course, I want to thank the Anti-Defamation League, especially your director and CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, as well as your entire board, your staff, and the thousands of dedicated volunteers for your work to inspire action in the fight against hate, intolerance, and injustice. On the morning of October,
She waited for that applause.
I love Deculturation.
Right. I was gonna play it. There's no ear doctor here. There's no one to stop me. I'm just gonna keep playing it.
She waited for the applause a little too long, a little pathetic, a little sad. Let's carry on.
7th, I was traveling with my son when I got a call from my grandmother, a Rebbitzin of blessed memory. She didn't say good morning. She didn't even say hello. She simply said, "We are at..."
She didn't even say shalom. What the fuck is happening? She knew something was wrong right off the bat. Grandmama, ¿por qué?
When I got a call from my grandmother, a Rebbitzin of blessed memory. She didn't say good morning. She didn't even say hello. She simply said, "We are at war." She didn't say who was at war, but I knew. As the news of the attack filtered around the world.
Hold on.
Well, pause him right
You're
there.
saying
Before
she
he
didn't
does
clarify like who?
What I love is
That is
again
great.
with the Zionist view is that everything was perfect and fine before October 7th.
That part.
That's always the view. That's it.
The world order was was perfectly aligned. No talk again about Palestinians in Gaza being in what people consider an open-eared prison, where they didn't have access to fresh water other than what Israel would supply. Where constantly they were strafed and bombed by Israel even before anything that happened in terms of this recent genocide. Access of food, all done with only the request of Israel being able to do that. So people who could not leave and go visit other towns, areas, and come back. So none of that is spoken of in terms of the life of people in Gaza. As long as they were captured and the world didn't speak about it, then they were happy. So the moment again that folks break out of their prison conditions, then all of a sudden they are held up as terrorists and so forth. But when the real terrorists get away with all of this stuff, for them it's like normal, right? For them it's like the way things should be, up until they get to decide and figure out how to get rid of these people anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, right? But this is the piece that she's referring to before October 7th is the settlers piece, the colonizers piece, right? The slave owners piece, right? You know what I mean? Like that's the same thing, right? Like before the slave revolts would happen, it was all peaceful for the slave owner on the plantation. It was cool for them, right? And this is why we can never use their language. All right, or just be aware that we're not saying the same thing. When we talk about peace, we're not saying the same thing. We talk about people-centered human rights or human rights, we're not talking about the same thing. And we talk about working for peace, right? Struggling for peace, where we're talking about a fundamentally antithetical to what they're talking about process. So yeah, absolutely. God damn, people are cooking her and I'm here for it. Leah said she's got a face only a grandmother would love.
Listen, I'm not even being funny, y'all. I wrote this and I mean every word. No one will ever be able to unsee her neck again. My
Listen,
work
man.
is done. I have spoken.
Like the unmitigated harm that I know this woman has done throughout the course of her entire career and her family, like the least we can do. The least we can do is let y'all see her neck.
And hear her politics. To
hear her politics.
To hear who Madani, again, is keeping in power when he doesn't need to.
Yes.
Which again
and that's why I thought this was.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
And again, even if Madani does move to try to do things, she's now a foil. She's now somebody who will take a public stance against him and dare him to fire her. And if he tries to fire her, cause a stir and suggest that it's anti-Semitism, right? So she's setting herself up as a foil, as a counterbalance to things in which he claims he wants to do. He's given her a whole set of new power where both Democrats and Republicans will rush to her defense if he decides at some point to oust her. And so now, no matter what she says, no matter what she does, she's going to have a long rope where she cannot be let go of, because he's now given over to her and her constituency a certain amount of power to have a voice. And he did not need to do that. Trump now, if he fires her, Trump will say things. You have the governor who will say things. You'll have Hakeem Jeffries who will say things, the person that he's endorsing. So he's setting himself up to be tar and feathered in some ways, but if he ever wants to fire her, because she's not changing her views, right? She's now become a foil for him in terms of the ideas that they suggest that he wants to put out. I found some of the documents from the DSA documents. So let's go to that real quick.
Yeah, because I found the full link to the actual doc. The actual.
You want to do yours or?
I mean, so what did you find?
Yeah. This is like, I just did a little AI search that said content of leaked documents. And again, in their estimation, these are so-called anti-Israel or anti-Semitic things. But these, again, are the things that the mayor can do without going to city council, without getting any permissions from the state of New York in terms of the governor or the Assembly of New York State, that he can do from day one. And these are some of the things that they say were part of the DSA working group plans to pressure the incoming Madani administration to implement. So these so-called leaked emails seem to be not necessarily something that he's already said he will do, at least according to what the leaked documents are, but things that they're trying to pressure him to do. So obviously, even within DSA, the fact that these documents were leaked shows that even within DSA, that it's not a complete anti-genocide stance, that there are people who are pro-Israel in DSA who obviously decided to leak these documents. But really quickly, it says, divesting city pension funds from Israeli bonds and securities, withdrawing city funds from banks that finance Israel do business there, ending city contracts with companies that conduct business in Israel, operating city-run grocery stores that do not carry Israeli products, investigating real estate agencies involved in the sale of stolen lands in the West Bank, something that's going on where they're having these basically real estate shows or real estate programs where they're trying to actually sell land, West Bank and Gaza. And it says removing nonprofit status from charities that raise funds for the Israel Defense Forces. Now, of course, Madani can't do that directly, but he can do something that impacts New York City's New York City doing business with those nonprofits, or any particular nonprofit status, or any particular benefit they get from being a nonprofit, which is a federal designation. He can obviously do something to make sure that they don't benefit. So these are what I would consider to be modest things that somebody would do if they are anti-genocide, which again are directly in his power to do. And so part of what this leak is exposing that that DSA is going to be pressuring him to do this. And I think these are things in which he said that he, in the past, I think people are hoping or suggesting that he would do.
Yeah, I'll drop in also if folks are curious. And this is the outlet is Just the News, and I'm not familiar with the outlet at all, but they actually had the agenda with the notes and the links in it. So I'll drop that.
And can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
That,
go.
So, and according to someone who spoke for the mayor, that he has distanced his official mayoral platform from these specific internal demands. So apparently these demands which were put out or leaked, his response has been to distance himself. And his campaign spokesman stated, if Zoran has not publicly endorsed or spoken on a position during the campaign, it is not part of his mayoral platform. So he is distancing himself. He says, my platform is not the same as a national DSA or any DSA organization. So again, where he could have at that particular moment given a response that suggested, yes, based on what I ran on, it is important for me from day one to be opposed to this genocide and to come out with policies that will show whatever limited impact that New York City mayor can have. No one is suggesting that he can stop the genocide, but people are suggesting that he can set some precedents by having the biggest city in the country come out and stop doing business with Israel. So as opposed to doing that and stating that unequivocally where he could, and as he and some of his platforms that he ran on, he is now distancing himself from that.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. I mean, yeah, it's an excellent point come out, and I think I also appreciate your point about, because like, there's been like some commentary around how like this is very like super big brain, super strategic, right? Where he's keeping her on so that she can give herself like, so he can eventually make a case to get rid of her and bring on somebody new or whatever. And I'm just like, why? It'll never make more sense to get somebody new than when you came in office. So off the rip, right? Like the fact that you have not taken that opportunity, like you've already put yourself, behind the 8 ball, right? Because as you said, right, if he does choose to do that and get rid of her, like now there's going to be all this blowback when you could have just gotten rid of her initially and just been like, it's a new administration, I'm just finding commission.
I'm bringing in my people.
Like it's not complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll
I
see.
just listen. I'm going to stick with my cautiously pessimistic take on this whole thing. I have zero excitement about him as a politician or what he will and will not do. I think it's good that he has some people in his transition team, like the lady who came after all the big business people whose name I'm blanking on right now. They were all terrified of her because she was trying to break up all the monopolies. So I feel like having people in his ear like that at least is something. But I mean, if in the end it's just like so he can point to people and say, well, look at who I had in my transition team, but actually not do anything, which is what I anticipate more having. Yes, Chitty Macha just definitely has some Obama stench on it. Yes, Lena Khan, thank you. The only, and I said this when he won, the only upside that I saw to any of this was that there is a small window of opening that shows that people in New York City are sick of the same old shit. And so that is literally the only upside that I saw to this entire thing was that, you had more than 1 million people who came out and said that they were going to vote for something that was not the same old, even though in the end it's probably going to end up being the same old, which I gotta say, it's such a, I don't even know what the word is for it, because what eventually is going to happen, and this is what frustrates me as much as it was like at least the benefit, is when everything that he does benefits in useless rhetoric and politician, nonsense. And what I will shout out to Dre, who coined this term progressive inertia, which I fucking love as a description for what these people do. Shout out Dre, he's coming on Saturdays in like 2 weeks so we could talk about it. But like, so when it results in that, what eventually will happen is people will be like, see, this is what you get. This is what happens when you elect a leftist and, a socialist, because they have no idea that he is not any of those things, right? Like he is literally like just the same old same. So it's this constant, Erica said it. Yep, this focus on like this individual person being the savior, this person, and in the end, the only benefit that could come out of this is actually organizing and motivating, a large swath of people within New York City to actually be on board with a truly socialist program. Because if they even thought of it and decided to vote for it, even as misconstrued and as much as it's not really a representation of true socialism, if they were not made afraid of the word socialist by the mainstream media's attempt to do that, then those are people you want to talk to. You now have 1 million people that you can talk to and hope that you can organize around actual making change. But I don't, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And 2 comments, right? Like just in line with what you were saying, Renee. Nope, that's not the right one. I'm sorry. This thing moved on me. Oh my goodness. Ricky, you build a base that confronts that, right? Like as you were saying, right? We need to build a base that's going to confront that. That's going to push him to do what we want him to do, and they extract whatever we can out of him, right? I will say I'm not necessarily in agreement with this comment from AJ Johnson 1548. He's making it possible for a real socialist to take power. People are no longer afraid of the socialist tag.
He's not a socialist.
He's not a socialist. And I feel like this will always make me think of the comments like that Jared makes around Bernie Sanders, right? Like Bernie Sanders, by positioning himself as a socialist, right? And really, now revealing himself to be like a Zionist and maybe a national socialist at best, like makes it such that is what people's idea of socialism becomes, right? And then inevitably when those people fail, when they fail to deliver, when they fail to push back, then socialism, actual socialism, takes that heat when it shouldn't, right? When it should still be liberalism taking that heat, right? So
right.
I don't know about that. I mean, like I acknowledge, right, the fact that his election kind of illustrates that people are ready for something different, right? But I'm very cautious as to this idea that like he's making the socialist tag more minimal, whatever. Conditions are making that. The conditions on the ground, the material conditions of people are making them more amenable to the idea of socialism, not Zoran, not his election, and not his platform, right? The material conditions are illuminating for people like this shit is not working, the capitalism is not working, we need a different political economy, and that is what is making socialism much more amenable for people, and he is benefiting from that, right? Just like he is benefiting in some ways from like his previous anti-Zionist positions, right? Pro-Palestine positions, right? Because that is where the people are, right? So just want to make sure that we're not, like it is not the tail wagging the dog, right? It's the other way around. So yeah, I wanted to pull that up. And then, shout out to Deculturation Carlos, who's in the chat. Morning, everyone. Rip Imam Jamil Al-Amin. He warned us about opportunities like Zoran.
You can't. You woke up late. I'm just joking. He's on the West Coast too.
He's busy doing long streams. Man. He's got to get his rest.
But Deculturation, shout out. If you go back a little bit in time, we actually just ran a party stream as part of the conversation. So shout out to you for all the work that you're doing, folks.
Shout out.
Make sure you're supporting Deculturation if you're not already.
Definitely.
Yeah, really quick, I want to play maybe as a last story. This came across and just sticking on the Zionist theme of things, I guess. So Michelle Obama's former speechwriter is really.
Oh Lord, I saw this. Yes.
Oh! And she's just given gold in terms of, her name is Sarah Hurwitz, in terms of how these folks really think. And
let's go, man.
And what they think about again the propaganda of protecting Zionism and Western hegemony, and what they have to do in order to continue to protect that. And there's a couple of different speeches that she's given recently, and this is just one of them. There's another one that's similar to this one, but this one I thought was interesting, and so I'm going to play this one.
And this is a former Obama speechwriter, correct?
Yes.
This is somebody who was in Obama's administration.
And Michelle Obama's speechwriter to be direct with that. Yeah.
Oh, even better. Even better.
Okay, let's play it.
We're kind of entering a post-literate society, and if like all day long your brain is just smashed again and again by TikTok with really upsetting carnage in Gaza, then like you're talking and like I'm sorry if this is a graphic thing to say, but like when I'm trying to make arguments in favor, for Israel, I realize I'm talking through a wall of dead children. Like that's what people are seeing. So when I'm like, yeah, but it's 1.5 civilians they're just seeing carnage.
But
right?
that's
like,
the emotional blackmail.
I mean, fair enough, but like again, I mean that's nice, but like again, I'm hearing that through a wall of screaming children. It's like I think it's a harder argument than we're understanding. So I actually really strongly think that like Jewish day schools should absolutely say no child owns a smartphone until senior year. They don't own one at all. Period. We give it to them senior year and we teach them like this whole not during the day. Great, nice start. No smartphone at all until senior year. Dumb phone, sure. Like, but I think that we've got to like give our kids' brains a chance and their mental health a chance before they start getting really warped.
So they'll be warped if they actually see the pictures of children being murdered, bombs dropping on them, adults being murdered, close-up pictures of all the human rights violations conducted by the Israeli occupying forces, which are horrific. They are horrific. There's no doubt about that they are horrific, and they do speak of carnage. So she's not about stopping the carnage. She's about making sure that the kids don't see the carnage because it might impact their views of the fact that the carnage is taking place.
I'm so disgusted.
Wait, just real quick, because I think this is the clip that you thought he was going to play, which is definitely the clip that I thought you were going to play. But we're gonna show this one too. Hold on.
Person probably wasn't going to find Al Jazeera or someone like Nick Fuentes. Today, those media outlets find them. They find them on their phones. It's also this increasingly post-literate media. Less and less text, more and more videos. So you have TikTok just smashing our young people's brains all day long with video of carnage in Gaza. And this is why so many of us can't have a sane conversation with younger Jews, because anything that we try to say to them, they are hearing it through this wall of carnage. So I want to give data and information and facts and arguments, and they are just seeing in their minds carnage, and I sound obscene. And, I think, unfortunately, the very smart, bet that we made on Holocaust education to serve as anti-Semitism education, in this new media environment, I think that is beginning to break down a little bit because, Holocaust education is absolutely essential. But I think it may be confusing some of our young people about anti-Semitism because they learn about big, strong Nazis hurting weak, emaciated Jews. And they think, oh, anti-Semitism is like anti-Black racism, right? Powerful white people against powerless Black people. So when on TikTok all day long, they see powerful Israelis hurting weak, skinny Palestinians, it's not surprising that they think, oh, I know, the lesson of the Holocaust is you fight Israel. You fight the big, powerful people hurting the weak people.
Which she's right about. That is the lesson of the Holocaust. That is the lesson of history. But she doesn't want folks to know that lesson of history. Yeah. She's like, no. I have these other alternative facts. That's what you should listen to. Don't believe, basically don't believe your lying eyes is her argument.
And the whole big, strong white, the description itself is so white supremacist. Like the big, strong white people. What is happening right now? Like y'all think it's a joke. Like when I watch these things and I just start laughing because the absolute absurdity of it all, the caucasity of this woman, right? Like I just, it's wild, man.
That is what I thought he was going to play. And I'm just, yeah, man. This was Michelle Obama's speechwriter. I feel like I'm still bothered by the way in which the Obamas are held up as like this great fucking thing for Black people or for anyone, quite honestly, but themselves. But the way in which they have continued to expose themselves and their class solidarity with the ruling class, with Zionists, with white supremacists, and even in this way, right? Like, who was behind them when they were giving those speeches? Like, I feel like that can't be ignored. And the fact that, I don't know, man, the audacity, the colonized people, that dead children, women, and men would get in the way of her facts, her information, her dating information, right? Like, how dare they, right? Like, how dare they get in her way? You know, it's disgusting, man. Like, I mean, and you hear them talk, and it's like, yeah, I laugh too, Renee, because I'm just like, this sounds insane. It sounds dystopian, but like, you're dead ass. You're dead serious. Yeah, man.
And that she thinks she can make this kind of argument in public, and it should be thought of as rational, right? Like she's actually thinking she's making a very rational argument, that she has some facts and figures. I would assume that why Israel should be a so-called Jewish homeland. Oh, sorry about that.
Ooh.
So she's making these arguments. I'll let you go, Evan, because this thing's going off.
I'm sorry, Kamal. No. You're absolutely right. She's making these arguments. I think the thing I'm thinking of is like, yes, to us, it is completely ridiculous, irrational, incorrect, factually incorrect, right, and immoral. But I think the issue is that, as far as that room is concerned, she is making rational points. She is making legitimate points. No one's there booing her, right? Like, no one who came to see her is booing her. They all agree, right? And it's the same kind of like dystopian nonsense, like of when Van Jones was, on that show making that joke about dead Gaza babies, and everybody laughs, like we are the outliers, right? In our disgust for these comments, for these perspectives, for these, for these ideas. God damn it, Ricky.
Well, it's not an emergency.
Oh yeah, thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, I agree. Like, again, we are the ones that this message is not made for. Yeah. But again, in their stupidity of how outrageous and the dumb this message is, they think that people will hear this message, and again, according to the audience that they're speaking to, for them, this is a normal message about how to regain the upper hand in propaganda. But when you're a normal person, and you take a moment to hear that these propagandists are basically telling you to ignore the fact that thousands of people have been murdered by this highly mechanized, sophisticated military apparatus. And basically, they've been murdering people by dropping bombs on them who don't have any way to really defend themselves, right? People do see the obviousness of it. They do see colonizer versus colonized. They do start to question, which is why they want to fight. So they do start to question the historical idea that they've been given, which again, the white supremacy, as you said, has for years endorsed and thought about as this normal. This is this normal. But when people are seeing all of these people being victimized and murdered, people do begin to start to question. And then their response, of course, is not to stop a war, not to stop a genocide, but how to stop people from actually seeing the carnage, which is to take away smartphones from them, to take away their ability to see this, so that they can go back to only going to news stations which officially endorse, or unofficially and or officially endorse Western hegemony, right? And so that's where you need to get your news from. Don't go anyplace else to get other ideas. Just go with what we tell you. And usually they've been able to peddle this stuff through the New York Times, through other newspapers, through corporate media. And that's what they want you to go back to. They don't want you to look outside of that, because then you will get the idea that there's other facts out there which don't fit into the idea that somehow Israel has a right to take over people's or Europeans who happen to practice the religion of Judaism have a right to go to another people's land, just like Europeans who happen to practice the religion of Christianity don't have a right to come to what was once Turtle Island and take over people's land, murder them, commit genocide against them, and not have people think that it's wrong, and have those very same people fight back. And yet have those people who fight back be deemed as terrorists, or in the case of the United States, as savages, right? That was the word of the day.
And also like the choice of word, and I know we have to wrap. Luckily, Air Doctor's not here to yell at us, but
right, he can't stop us.
But the use of the word carnage, and I'm trying to go back in my head to think, did she even say Palestine, Palestinian? I don't think so, right? So it's
or Gaza. I think she said Gazan. I think she
Gazan, which I mean, I know we say like New Jerseyans and New Yorkers and things like that, but I feel like even the term Gazan is used by these people in an attempt to remove Palestine from the conversation.
No, that's
right?
exactly right. It's an attempt to not say Palestinians. Yeah.
And so even her language about this is very dehumanizing, right? Like it's carnage. It's not like the people. They're people, right? Like
it's a wall of dead baby. It's a wall of
it's the wall of carnage. Like it's just so gross. The whole thing is so fucking gross, and I'm sick of all of these, like, you know, these Zionist white folks who just like scream at the top of their lungs all this nonsensical bullshit so that they can continue to kill off an entire population of people. So fuck them. Free Palestine, help the Palestinians, support Palestine. Like, fuck all these people with their nonsense. If you live, you breathe, and you have a right to continue to do so. So
support Palestinian liberation, support the resistance. You know what I'm saying? Long live the resistance. The ceasefire has not done anything to mitigate the Zionist entities' atrocities. And the resistance continues to fight back, and we should continue to support them. So.
All right, on that message, thanks everybody for coming out. Remix Morning Show. I think our Wednesday crew will be back tomorrow. We'll let you guys know, I guess, if there's going to be a Thanksgiving show or a show on that day. So we'll let you know that. But thanks everybody for coming out. Evan, Renee for holding it down for 2 hours. This is Kamal. We will see you guys later. Peace out.
Remix. 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 Remix.